afternoon, everyone. I know a lot of people are starting to go away for the holidays, or at least stop work, and some people have got about a week left. But I wanted to, during this time away, I thought this would be a perfect topic to kind of talk about. And I guess it's all about when we're not in the workplace, how do other people speak about us and treat us? And if you're in a workplace bullying situation or a toxic work culture, you maybe may feel a bit paranoid about people talking about you behind your back. But you also may be very right in feeling this way because, unfortunately, bullies do tend to talk about us behind our back, and also they enlist other people to the cause. So I find that this one is really hard because you're not actually there and to be able to defend yourself, and so you might come back to the workplace and just kind of get snippets of conversations, or someone who may be loyal to you may tell you what has been going on and what has been said. And there's lots of different reactions to this, and one of the first ones is usually anger, and you kind of just want to go and confront people and have a go and ask them if that's how they'd like to be treated. So that sometimes has merit, but a lot of the times it's a short-term win, and then you kind of regret the outburst. So I've learnt this one from experience. If you kind of go on and you're actually trying to defend yourself, then you are actually put on the back foot, and the bully is almost manipulating you like a puppet, and they're still winning even though you feel like you're actually trying to get yourself out there and defend yourself and set those boundaries, but it ends up being kind of quite negative, and they actually do manipulate the situation to make you look like the bad person. So that's obviously one way that we can react to people talking about us behind our back, and especially when we're not in the workplace. But then there's other ways that we can, I guess, take the higher road, and making sure that our conduct and the way we interact with people is of a high standard. And I guess you get what you put out for the most part. And I think it's also really important for us to maintain our own values in these situations, even if they are difficult, and even if people are challenging us and trying us. You're going to feel so much better once you come out the other side of a workplace bullying situation, knowing that you have maintained your own integrity and you haven't kind of stooped to their level. Because unfortunately, the bullies, a lot of the time, they don't see what they're doing is wrong, and they actually bring a lot of people onto their cause because they are actually quite good at persuading people, but they don't use their powers for good, they use it for evil. And if you're a target, then obviously it is quite damaging to your mental health. And the way that we can also go about, I guess, meeting these bullies head on is by calling them out on it. And I know we have talked about this in another video, but actually calling them out kind of meets them where they're at. And it does, for a lot of them, they don't want to be called out because they don't want to be labeled as the bully. And it's actually kind of a funny thing to say, because bullies actually hide behind a lot of different facets of the actions that they take to be looked upon favorably, whether it be from management or whether it be from the rest of the team. And it's actually really quite interesting when you look at it in a deeper way. Obviously it's harder when you're in the middle of the situation and you're really frustrated by the bully's actions, but it is actually the way that they try and manipulate the situation to make it so that you look like you are actually the bully when it's actually the other way around. So I think when they're trying to manipulate you and talk about you behind your back, it is really paramount that we make sure that we take the high road and we are maintaining our own values by speaking kindly, and documenting is obviously a biggest one, especially if you talk to anyone about workplace bullying. What their advice would be to document situations, because that is going to ultimately help you when it does come down to the fact that you need to be reporting this, and it helps in a way that it empowers you and it takes the power away from that bully, because even though they may have been berating you behind your back, they are obviously going to be at a disadvantage if you're documenting all of that information about what's happening, with dates, with times, with witnesses, and that way you can it's still not going to feel very good, but at least you have your own power in that situation so that you can move past this. And I always tend to remind people that the bully still has to live with themselves after you are well and truly out of that situation. So remember that this too shall pass. It's not going to stay this way forever, and you just need to find navigate your way out. And there are always ways to be able to find ways to prioritize your mental health and your physical health as well, and also move away from a bullying situation or a toxic workplace. But I just thought I'd give you a couple of tips on how to deal with someone who might be berating you or talking about you behind your back. But always take the high road and stay safe at this. Thank you guys. Bye.